So what is React? Well, React is an extension to the JavaScript library created by Facebook. What it is basically they've added a virtual DOM onto the existing DOM inside your web browser. Now, if you don't know what a DOM is, it's basically a document management system that anything that gets rendered on your website or web page sits on the DOM as a object. And Facebook created this virtual DOM where it sits in front of the real DOM. So if anything changes on your website, it dynamically refreshes that specific part of the website rather than reloading the whole page when you refresh. So there's a couple drawbacks when it actually comes to React. So because it's a virtual DOM, what it does is when you load the web page, it actually loads the whole website itself. So if you've got a large website with thousands or millions of pages like a blog, it will download the entire content to begin with, and it will cause your servers and your client to have quite large data being received. And for that reason, it actually it's a lot slower than other frameworks. But if that user is on the website for quite a long time, navigating between pages, with a normal website, they have to reload the web page, reload everything on that page. If there's anything dynamic being loaded, such as on Facebook where you've got posts, people liking, people commenting, you would have to traditionally refresh the page every time, and it would download the whole entire content for that page, all the JavaScript, all of the HTML. With React, on the other hand, because it's dynamic with the virtual DOM, what it does when it pushes the changes to your page, it will only download that additional piece of information, so you're not having full page reloads. So whereas it might be a little bit slower to load, when you're actually on the website, things are so much quicker and so much smoother because you can't tell that things are being reloaded, but they are dynamically. So yeah, like I said, it's created by Facebook, and it consists of a lot of things called components. And a component is basically a split out piece of code that we write in a extension called JSX. Now JSX is literally an extension on top of JavaScript, and it allows us to be able to write HTML directly in our JavaScript, and we'll return it as a function. And when we actually build our React component, when we actually build our React app and the compiler, what it does is that it reads our components and it will build a large HTML and CSS file so it can actually render it onto our browsers. So it does most of its hard work and heavy lifting in the background. So it makes our lives a lot easier for modularity inside of our code, so we can actually maintain it a hell of a lot easier. We get a better layout in our code, so it's more maintainable for other programmers who might be maintaining the code that we've written. And it is good for practicing separation of concerns. So separation of concerns are basically, say for argument's sake, you have a form and the form is one specific thing, so a logging form. So you can even turn these inputs into separate modules if you want to, but in hindsight, because inputs are already set as a module in HTML themselves as a tag, it's very overkill to turn that into a module. But a lot of people are using React because of the speed that it gives you once the web page is actually loaded. And with the virtual DOM, it removes all the complexities of being able to find elements by ID in the DOM itself. You don't have to do any of that. It's done all for you, and you only have to deal with one HTML file which the renderer and the compiler injects all of its HTML into when you actually build the app itself.